Yo, what's good, everyone? All right, I found a moment, man, to come on live, and I know it's late for a lot of you guys depending on where you guys are at in the world. I know on the East Coast it's probably around midnight or something like that. But like I said, man, I just found a moment to come on live, and there's just a lot of stuff that I plan to talk about here in the near future. I got a lot to say about this Bud Crawford situation. A lot of things have been said about that in regards to his now lawsuit against Bob Arum. I'm definitely going to speak on that possibly in the morning, stateside, tomorrow morning. But this Paulie Malignaggi shit, man, I finally reached my limit, and I got to come on here and give my thoughts. I feel like I have to at this point. SM, bro, what's good, man? Thanks for dropping by. So, for all the people that are coming in, I'm sure there'll be some more people trickling in here over the next 10, 15 minutes or so as people start to get their notifications. I haven't been live in a while, so it takes a little bit of time, man. But let me go ahead and get into it because I don't want to be on here too long or too late. Um, Paulie Malignaggi, right? Let me just say this. I used to be one of those guys back in, the early 2010s, maybe a little bit before that actually supported Paulie Malignaggi. Like, I knew he wasn't the biggest draw. I knew he didn't have that type of boxing. Uh, how can I put it? Like the boxing stardom. Like he wasn't a guy that can knock dudes out. Not an easy guy to sell from a promotional side of things, other than having a mouthpiece. But on a boxing perspective, ever since he was finished with his war with Cotto and a few other notable names, he's just started taking L's, right? And I was one of those guys that came out here and was like, I feel like Paulie's putting on a good boxing display, and he just wasn't getting decisions against certain fighters. And he would openly criticize the judging and things like that. And I was one of those guys who were like, yeah, like we need to listen to a guy like Paulie. As far as his commentating on Showtime, for more or less, I didn't mind it, right? But as time went on, this dude started to show his true colors. And I'm a firm believer, right? I'm a firm believer that time reveals all things. And people show their true colors. People will show who they really are. And Paulie Malignaggi is another example of that. So we all know why he was fired for Showtime, right? If you don't know, humble reminder that the dude came out and said something in regards to the black fighter is finished, or the black fighter is no longer going to be on top, or something like that. And I don't know if he was referring to what then Latinos are going to take over, white fighters are going to take over, Asian fighters are going to take over. I don't know. But all I know is he made quite frankly, a racist and bigoted comment, and they fired his ass. Rightfully so. So he lost his position, a position that, it's sad because a guy with his type of mouthpiece, with his knowledge of the sport, he could have been something positive, right? He could have provided something in regards to commentary that people would have been like, yeah, like win, lose, or draw in Paulie's career, the dude knows boxing. But so many times in Paulie's career, his mouth has got him into these situations. And I started to lose respect for this dude whenever he started acting the way he did after getting his ass whooped by Conor McGregor in sparring. He started acting like a little bitch, like period point blank, running around chasing Conor. And it's like, dude, you're not looking good right now. You're not looking good for the sport of boxing. You're making boxing look terrible right now. You thought that you can go in there and spar against a dude who's in shape, you're not in shape, who's younger than you, and you thought you're going to go in there and just what? Jab and move? Like the dude beat your ass. Everybody saw it. Nobody cares. But that was basically the beginning of me being like, this dude is off his rocker, man. This dude's got some, I don't know, he's got some mental issues, been hit in the head too many times. I don't know what it is. But being racist, which is basically what that's his MO right now, is attacking the black community. That's what he's doing. That has nothing to do with brain damage. That's who you are inside your soul. So you make comments about the black fighters done, right? So I mean, isn't that something that Bob Arum is basically saying right now? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that something that Bob Arum has been portraying, and this is why Bud Crawford is filing a lawsuit against him? Devin, what's good? Hands Beecham, bro, what's good, man? C Wood, man, I see you in the building, Yahweh. No notifications. That's how they do me. They were happy. They were happy that Divine Sense wasn't going live as much anymore. So they don't have to put out the notifications. You can only keep me down for so long, man. And the people that, you know what I'm saying, that they got their heads on a swivel, they're going to sweep by. Cursor, what's good, bro? Good to see you as well. But look, I was just over on my man Town Business channel over there, man, and he was talking about this. Shout out to my man Town. I think he's still live right now. But he motivated me to go live right now because he also brought up that supposedly Muhammad Ali's daughter has now come out in defense of Bob Arum, saying that everything that Bud's saying is not true. I mean, this shit's just frustrating, bro. I can't even put it into words in regards to why the community continues to struggle the way that it does, and why we continue to fight amongst each other, and why we cannot prevail, why we cannot succeed, why we cannot move forward. Because the crazy thing is that you got a man, and I don't mean to shift topics, but you got a man who's willing to stand on the forefront, right? Walk across no man's land and go to the other side and be like, fuck this dude, Bob Arum. This dude has been shitting on me and black fighters for the longest. And if I got to be the one, then here's my spear, here's my shield. Let's go to war. And then you get people that don't even want to support him and say, oh, hey, bro, just sit down, bro. It's all good. Sit down? Sit down. So that's what now loopholes into the situation that I want to talk about right now in regards to Paulie Malignaggi. And best believe me, I'm going to be back on here live talking about this Bud Crawford, Bob Arum shit. Earl Spence too. I'm going to be on here getting lit, dropping bombs. So don't worry about that. But to stick to the topic and the title of this live stream, this segues right into Paulie Malignaggi. Just sit down. So when George Floyd's neck is leaned on for 10 minutes, you're saying just sit down. Just like some of these people out here, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, there's a whole plethora amount of people who told people, oh, just sit down and be quiet. Don't support Bud going after Bob Arum. These same type of people are the same people who said, oh, just sit down, be quiet. Don't criticize corrupt police, abusive police. Don't say too much about Derek Chauvin, like, hey, just be cool. It's the same people. And believe me when I tell you this, it's all different colors and races. Let me tell you. So recently, Paulie Malignaggi has come out on an interview. I don't know where he was at and who he was talking to. Some guy named Steve something or another, some other idiot. And I don't know how the conversation of how the conversation of George Floyd came about. But basically, they started ridiculing his death and trying to make excuses for Derek Chauvin. Now, I'm going to play the clip for you guys right here live, exclusive, VIP, if you haven't seen it. Y'all can watch it for yourself. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish off my thoughts on what was said and the whole grand scheme of things. Because I've never really spoken about Derek Chauvin and George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Mike Brown and all these. I haven't really spoken on a public forum in front of people since probably Trayvon Martin. Because I've tried to keep this channel strictly about boxing. And I have another channel that I haven't really launched, officially, where I will talk about these topics. And there's a part of me that tries to stay away from it, but I mean, I am who I am, and I think it's time now that I take this shit serious, like I did in the past. But let me play this clip for you guys in case you guys haven't seen it, because there might be people in here lurking, thinking that, oh, I'm just trying to ride the wave and stir up controversy. Okay. Well, here comes the clip. And then I'll give you guys my thoughts and closure of this situation, man. So there you see him right there. There's Paulie, right? This guy named Steve Kim. Some Korean dude. I don't even know who he is. If anybody knows who Steve Kim is, I don't. Somebody mentioned that he was an ESPN analysis or commentator or something like that. I don't know who this dude is. But somehow the conversation of George Floyd came about. And yeah, I'm about to play this clip and y'all can hear it for yourself. And I'll give you guys my thoughts, and feel free, man, to leave yours in the comment section. Everybody that is just joining in, man, I appreciate you. Hit that like button. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, man, because right today, or tonight rather, we about to get into some real shit. We got to put boxing to the side for a moment. Sometimes we got to hit the pause button and dig into some serious issues. That's what we got to do, because too many times are we complacent. Too many times do we let the man dictate how we think and feel and operate out here. So we take pause, we take moment. You got a mouthpiece like Paulie Malignaggi that has, he's got a certain amount of notoriety and popularity. When he speaks, people listen. So that's why we take pause. Omega Red in the building. Good to see you, bro. I'm going to play this clip, man, if you haven't seen it. This is Paulie Malignaggi in a recent interview. This was uploaded on January 14th. So, yeah. Here we go.
Later, George Floyd happens. Now, again, given my opinion, George Floyd didn't happen because he's black. George Floyd happened because of a lot of circumstances, okay? One, George Floyd was high.
I'm going to play it all the way through once, okay? Then I'm going to take it back, and I'm going to break it down. All right? So I'm going to play it through once, and then I'll give you my thoughts afterwards.
Later, George Floyd happens. Now, again, given my opinion, George Floyd didn't happen because he's black. George Floyd happened because of a lot of circumstances, okay? One, George Floyd was high. Two, Derek Chauvin wasn't a nice person. And three, if George Floyd, when a cop arrests you, I've been arrested and I've also been assaulted by cops myself. When you're getting arrested, the less cooperative you are, the worse it's going to be for you. So, George Floyd at the end of the day wasn't exactly cooperative. A cop doesn't have 6 hours on the job, be like, all right, whenever you're ready, we're going to get in the car and I'm gonna take you to the station, and then I'm gonna fill out because then he's gonna still fill out paperwork when he goes to you. You know, there's a lot to do. So the cop doesn't want to spend 6 hours on the street with you and then bring you in and then have to do another 2-3 hours of paperwork on top of it too. So you know, he's trying to get this thing done. So you don't have like, you know, George, whenever you're ready, we can head to the police station, you know, and we'll go. You know, like you're good, you know. So you know, not to say Derek Chauvin reacted in the way he should have, but emotions are bound. People get annoyed. Sometimes people abuse their authority when they get temperamental. And let's face it, Derek Chauvin had a very shady past too when it came out, you know. So he probably had been the kind of guy that had done these kind of things before, even when he wasn't triggered. But in this case, George Floyd did trigger him. Let's face it, you know. And other cops were around, right? It wasn't like it was race-based. I think one of the cops was even black cop. Another one was an Asian cop, right? So it wasn't like it was race-based. You can sell it and frame it all you want. But remember, if you repeat a lie enough times, people start to believe it. That's a saying, okay? And it's true, okay? So,
all right, people. So the scumbag y'all hear.
Yeah. So now I'm going to play it back, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. I just wanted to play it through once and let you guys just hear it because I didn't want to interrupt it. But I'm going to roll it back. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, man, on these remarks. It's tough for me to keep it PG-13. I'm going to try my best. But this shit really, really gets under my skin. Because like I said, when a guy like Paulie Malignaggi speaks, people listen. Right? So this has now been leaked. Everybody in the boxing community, for the most part, has heard it. And, you know, we'll see. You know, we'll see what channels out here say. And I guarantee you, people will you know, try to twist it and try to defend this man. But basically, we can't stand idle, right? Can't stand idle. Can't take pause. We take this shit seriously. There's too many times do we stand idle. Too many times do we take pause. Too many times do we say, oh, maybe we should just be quiet and be nice. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. 817 Boxing B, what's good? Tania, what's good? Thanks for dropping by. Maine, are you using Reggie Owens content? No, I'm not actually, but I think somebody else did. Whoever put up this video, I think took it from Reggie's channel. This is politics and news. Oh, Reggie. Oh, okay, shit. Maybe he has another channel. I didn't even know that. Shout out to Reggie Owens, man. I didn't know you had 2 channels. So yeah, Reggie Owens made a video about this. If you guys didn't know, I only thought he had a boxing channel. But
later,
let me play this back, and I'll give you guys my thoughts, and I'll break it down piece by piece. Jeffrey H. Lopez, I appreciate you, man. It's always good to see you in here. Sebastian Andrew, criminal, I say this because he's still alive. I'm a black man saying this. George Floyd was not a hero, and the whole thing was staged. I'm a black man saying this. All right. Hey, people in the comment section, y'all can handle this dude Sebastian as you see fit. I'm just gonna put it to you that way. But look, we're gonna go deeper just for a moment. We're gonna go deeper than George Floyd. We're gonna go deeper than George Floyd. Right? Here we go.
Later, George Floyd happens. Now, again, given my opinion, George Floyd didn't happen because he's black. George Floyd happened because of a lot of circumstances, okay? 1, George Floyd was high. 2, Derek Chauvin wasn't a nice person. And 3, if George Floyd, when a cop arrests you, I've been arrested and I've also been assaulted by cops myself. When you're...
All right, let me pause it there. So the argument that it didn't happen because George Floyd was black, right? It happened because he was high, and it happened because Derek Chauvin's not a good person. That's what Paulie Malignaggi is saying, right? So the question is, if that's the question you want to throw out there, or if that's your belief, and there's other people who believe that, so then the question would be if he was white, or if he was Latino, or if he was Asian, would it have been the same result? It's a simple question. Would it have been the same result? Now, Paulie just says out of his own mouth that Derek Chauvin is not a good person. He has a history of police brutality. He has a history of, in particularly, abusing black people in the community. I'm not making it up. Look it up for yourself. Right? So again, if George Floyd wasn't black, would have it been the same result? Now, in regards to being high, I'm not going to dispute the fact that he may have been on drugs. But this is the issue. This has nothing to do with George Floyd. The issue is people who are being killed, arrested, thrown in prison for non-violent offenses. So the question for these people, and this dude Sebastian in the chat, and I'm still waiting for your reply here. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. So the question at hand here, was Floyd putting anybody in danger when the police arrived? Right? So I'm just asking a simple question. Was he putting himself or anybody else in danger? The problem is that police arrive on a situation where he supposedly used a counterfeit bill, and then that particular offense led to his death. That's the why. They didn't go there because he was robbing people and killing people and being violent towards people. The issue is people are being arrested, people are being thrown in prison, and people are being killed for non-violent offenses. And that's just what it is. So when we ask the question, okay, well, if he wasn't black, would have this, been the same result if he was somebody of different color or of different circumstances? And nobody seems to answer that. King of the Dead, what's good? We'll continue.
You're getting arrested, the less cooperative you are, the worse it's going to be for you. So, George Floyd at the end of the day wasn't exactly cooperative. A cop doesn't have 6 hours on the job, be like, all right, whenever you're ready, we're going to get in the car and I'm going to take you to the station. And then I'm going to fill out because he's got to still fill out paperwork when he arrests you. There's a lot to do. So the cop doesn't want to spend 6 hours on the street with you and then bring you in and then have to do another 2-3 hours of paperwork on top of it too. So he's trying to get this thing done. So
right, he's just trying to get this thing done. He's just trying to get it done. And if that means I got to lean on his neck for 10 minutes, I just got to get this done. Because this George Floyd guy, he's a threat. He's dangerous. He's violent. We got to get him off the street. We just got to get it done. I don't want to be here for 6 hours trying to negotiate with this violent man, this dangerous man. I don't want to spend my time. I'm getting paid by the city to do a fucking job and to deal with these situations. Well, I don't have, your time is not valuable. The money that you put into the city through your taxes, it's not valuable enough. I'm going to handle this the way I want to handle it, quickly and swiftly. And if that means the dude dies by me leaning on his neck for 10 minutes, then I guess that's just what it is, because time is precious. I can continue to loop back and go back to the original dispute of this whole situation for me. The fact that you want to spend man hours time on a dude who used a counterfeit bill, which is a non-violent offense. is the whole reason why this whole situation should have never happened. I say, oh well, Devon, what do you want the convenience store to do then if a dude's using a counterfeit bill? Well, report him. Police come in, get the dude's information, okay, and pass that on to the convenience store, and the convenience store will handle it accordingly. Right? But there's a whole nother topic that I can have on different ways to deal with these nonviolent offenses. But the point of the matter is, it doesn't matter how you cut it or slice it. That's what it goes back to. And the fact that these dudes are sitting up here on the mic laughing, they're like laughing about what happened. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, you're right. They don't got 6 hours in the day to deal with this. Well, why are you dealing with it, period? Why is a nonviolent offense being dealt with, period, to this extent? Why? Why is there 4 cops there? Why? And nobody can answer that, ever. I'll continue.
You don't have George, whenever you're ready, we can head to the police station, and we'll go, you go.
This is mockery right here. How is this man not mocking George Floyd, a man who was dead, who was killed, who was executed? That George Floyd was executed. It doesn't, oh, he was on drugs. No, he may have been on drugs, but he was executed. So because he was on drugs, that means he needs to be executed? So if I have a rough day, a rough year, a rough week, and my PTSD kicks in, and prescription drugs ain't working, and I happen to get a hold of something much more harder, more dangerous that affects me more than what prescription drugs do. And prescription drugs, to be fair, like there's that's a whole nother topic. But so because I have a bad week or a bad year, and then I slip up one day and decide to take some hard drugs, then I deserve to die now? Because I don't want to be put in a police car, so I deserve to die now? None of this makes sense. Like, it doesn't matter if you think that, oh, well, George was a criminal and he was on drugs and this, that, and the third. It doesn't condone. It doesn't excuse a man of authority and power with a gun on his hip to execute an unarmed man in the middle of the street like a dog. And that's why his ass is sitting in jail. That's why his ass is sitting in jail right now. And for me, it makes me wonder about some people, man. We already had a few people in the comment section trying to defend George Floyd. Defending Paulie Malignaggi and defending Derek Chauvin. Already, I've only been live barely 30 minutes, and by the time they commented, I was only live for 15 minutes. That's all it takes. It doesn't take long for these people to uproot themselves and expose themselves. We're surrounded by them. We're fucking surrounded by them. That's why I tell people all the time, keep your head on a swivel. Unless someone proves their loyalty to you, they prove their trustworthiness to you. Trust nobody. Because there are snakes in the grass amongst us every step we take in life, I'm telling you. This is exactly why I don't live in the States. People ask me all the time, yo, what are you doing out there? Because if I was street side, when George Floyd was having his neck kneeled on like that in front of people, they probably would have shot me. They would have had to shoot me. Because I'm not going to stand there and witness a man, I don't give a fuck what he did. I'm not going to stand there and witness an execution. Because how am I supposed to go through life with that on my conscience? How am I supposed to sleep at night? I don't know George. I don't know anything about George. I see a man helpless, begging for his life, saying he can't breathe. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. But that's why I don't live in the States. Because I would be arrested or shot. I promise you that. And because there's too many people, like I said, snakes in the grass all amongst us. They want to be cool. They act like they're cool. But deep down, they're evil. Deep-rooted evil and hate. And they're waiting for the opportunity to put that evilness and that hatred on you. They're waiting for their opportunity to strike. Uberfly, good to see you in the chat, bro. Thanks for dropping by. Look at this guy's face right here. Look at Paulie Malignaggi's face that I have it paused here on the spot. You don't have to come out and be like, oh, George was a great man and I love George Floyd. And no, but you got to recognize it for what it is. A man was executed in front of people. And unfortunately, well, fortunately enough, actually, but unfortunately for Derek Chauvin, that shit was filmed. Every second of it was filmed. The execution was filmed. G Funky, what's good, bro? So I think it was Will Smith that said something like, it's not that police brutality is more. It's just that it's being filmed now. They're being caught now. Imagine if this shit wasn't filmed. Imagine if somebody didn't pull out their phone street side and filmed this. Derek Chauvin probably would have walked away. Imagine if somebody didn't capture Ahmaud Arbery jogging down the street and being executed. Police brutality has always been there, but now it's being filmed. So it is disappointing that a man like Paulie Malignaggi, who could have done great things for the sport of boxing. The dude's got a mouthpiece, right? He knows how, he's a good talker. He's got energy. He's got bravado. He knows the sport of boxing. But then he goes live saying that the European race is more superior or some shit like that, or the black fighter is no longer the top fighter or something like that, right? So he gets fired. And now he's jumping around doing podcasts mocking George Floyd's death. So I don't know if, honestly speaking, I don't know if it's because he got his ass beat too many times by black fighters or he's always had this deep-rooted hatred towards black people and now he's seizing the opportunity to speak his mind. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe he's still upset that Adrian Broner fucked this side piece. And he's looking for an outlet. I have no idea. but I don't care. I see a comment here by Christian NW. I don't know if you're still in here, man. I saw it and just made a mental note to go back to it. He said being a cop is understandably a tough job. There's a lot of mistrust of cops, so to be one carries a certain level of animosity from the public. That being said, a cop's dirty/brutal action should not be excused. It's when cops get a pass that it cements the public's mistrust on cops, which affects good cops. Look, man, I agree that being a cop is a very difficult job. It comes with a lot of responsibility, but it should also come with accountability. Being a fireman is a tough job. It comes with responsibility, but also should come with accountability. Anytime you put your life on the line at any given moment, it's a tough job. But cops get paid well for the most part, with benefits and everything, pension, because they do put their life on the line. The problem is training, bringing the wrong type of people into the police force. That's the problem. People with vendettas, people with hatred in their heart, people on a power trip. Are there good cops out there that want to do good in their community and help people? Sure. But I would say that it's the minority. And Paulie, he said earlier, he said, "Oh well, you know, I've been stopped by the police. I've been abused. I've been arrested." Well, you have a hard time. Or sorry, you're making it difficult for me to believe that's true. Because if you've been stopped by police, harassed by police, abused by police, then you would know that it shouldn't be tolerated or accepted. So the biggest problem is training, right? There is literally no training in most police forces in the United States where first they check and make sure of your mental capacity to be able to handle people like George Floyd, people that are on drugs, people that are going through shit in life, people who are angry, upset, and not in the right mindset. You got to be a certain type of person to be able to deal with people like that in society. Being a cop is much more than I got a gun on my hip, I got a taser on the left, I got a handcuffs and pepper spray. I'm going to drive my patrol car down and look for criminals. It's much more than that. You have to protect and serve your community, which means that you are going to be in contact with people like George Floyd on a weekly, if not daily basis, depending on which community you are serving in America. You got to be a certain type of person. And if you don't grow up in that environment, you don't grow up dealing with drug addicts and criminals and gangbangers and hustlers and all this other crazy shit that happens in our communities. If you don't grow up and have at least some type of understanding on how the system works, and you think you're just going to put your cape on and be a superhero and save the city, then shit like what happens to George Floyd happens. Shit like happens to Mike Brown happens. Shit that happens to Trayvon Martin happens. Shit that happens to Ahmaud Arbery happens. Because you feel like you got to save the world. You got to save the community. Uberfly says, during George Floyd's protest, Paulie came out of the closet as a vicious racist, and I'm in jail. It hurt. it always stood up for him. I've always stood up for him. So, yeah, I was just saying that earlier, Uber Fly. Like in the very beginning of this live stream, like I was the guy who came out and defended Paulie Malignaggi when I felt like he was robbed in some of his fights because people didn't appreciate his style, his boxing style, because he didn't have no pop, he didn't have no power, and he was in close fights, and it seemed like he never got the nod, especially um, in a time in his career where if he didn't get victories, then he'll never be respected. But like I was saying, man, like time reveals all truth. And this is what has happened. This dude has no reason but to be humble, to be thankful of the millions of dollars that he has made in the sport of boxing, to have the opportunity to use a gift, which is be able to speak on the mic and have that energy and bravado to be able to do so and provide something else outside of the boxing ring. He should be nothing but thankful and humble to be able to do that. He has no reason to sit up on a pedestal or on his Paulie Malignaggi soapbox and sit up there and ridicule, criticize, chastise black people and black fighters. There is literally no reason for him to do that other than deep-rooted hatred for one reason or the other. And like I said, it's either because he got his ass beat every time he had to step up against a black fighter, or something happened to him when he was younger and many times after where, I don't know, black dudes kept fucking his chicks or something. And he couldn't accept it. And now he's a nobody because he got fired. He's lost all opportunities. So he's plugging himself in to these podcasts randomly to find an outlet to express his frustration. Kaz, what's good? Actually, I noticed that too. The dude, I mean, he 100% like colors his beard and 100% colors his hair. Ain't no doubt about that. I don't know about he was going balding, but the dude's pushing 40. And his beard is as black as his sweater. But that's neither here or there. But I just wanted to leave my thoughts about this. I saw a few channels making videos and talking about it a little bit. And at first, I didn't want to believe it was true. I really didn't. I was like, come on, Paulie. Like, bro, I know you're upset, but come on. But here it is, man. I mean, this is the proof right here. The whole video is here. Y'all can check it out. It's on, let me double check the channel name. Politics and News with Reggie Owens, man. It's right there. Y'all can check it out. I guess Reggie Owens, he has a boxing channel as well. I guess he has 2 channels out here. But if you want to listen to the interview, there it is. But yeah, I mean, the reason why it makes me upset is the main 2 reasons, I think, is number one, when a guy like Paulie Malignaggi, who is a guy that, he has some type of notoriety, right? He was a professional boxer. He's been involved in controversy. People know who he is. Win, lose, or draw. Everybody knows who Paulie Malignaggi is. Even people that watch UFC knows who Paulie Malignaggi is. So anytime he speaks, Tom, what's good, bro? Anytime he speaks, people listen. And it continues to taint the minds of people who either are leaning towards the same mindset that Paulie has against black people, already have that mindset, so then it just solidifies it even more, puts more salt in the wound, more gas in the fire. Or people who are not tainted at all, but then they hear this guy say certain things, and then people start questioning, right? Because that's what happens when your mind is poisoned. Not everybody is strong-minded, right? Your mind is now poisoned by a guy that maybe you looked up to or a guy that you respected, and he comes on here and saying this crazy shit, and then people start questioning things. So that's the first one. The second one is the overall situation. I mean, when Trayvon Martin happened, I remember when it first happened, I was very, very vocal on it on my original channel. And the division was crazy. The division was absolutely crazy. There were people literally saying that Trayvon deserved it and so on and so forth. And it ripped apart the boxing community. It ripped apart people. It ripped apart friendships. And it really makes you wonder. It makes you think like, wow. Because on YouTube, people really, because they're hiding behind the screen, they're hiding behind the avatar, right? They really say what they feel, but in society, you'll never know. You'll never know. They work right next to you every single day. You clock in. That person that you encounter, that same dude that you encounter on YouTube, he sits next to you at lunch. And I'm not gonna lie, man. It took a lot out of me because I just can't wrap my head around the idea of like where anybody would even consider an unarmed person being attacked and killed, like not being a good thing. Like how's that not evil? Like how like anytime someone's executed and murdered, and so this is just another example of that. Like people are still finding reasons to criticize George Floyd's death when the man was executed in broad daylight. And people are still like, oh, well, he was a drug addict and, he should have listened. Christian W.O. said, he goes on to say, in my city, San Antonio, there's a shortage of cops. The police department are practically begging people to become cops. Nobody wants a job. The cops that are there have a big area to cover. Well, here's the thing, Christian. Here's the thing, bro. I hate to say it, but the police departments have done it to themselves. They've done it to themselves with the corruption, with the police brutality, the things that they've done in the community. Then a police officer's shot and killed or whatever, or seriously injured. And because the community is so hurt and ravaged about the things that have happened, the support of the police is no longer there. So yeah, people don't want to be a cop anymore because they don't have that security blanket anymore like they used to have in the 90s, where like kids grow up, oh, I want to be a cop. But like I said earlier, Christian, it's not that police brutality has increased from the 80s. Well, even go back further than that. You go all the way back to the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and so forth. It's not that police brutality has increased. It's that it's being filmed now, right? So the younger generations, like when you're growing up as a kid, oh, I'm going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be a policeman. I'm going to join the military, or I'm going to be a doctor. You remember when you're like second grade and the teacher asked you what you want to be? Kids don't want to be cops no more because they grew up in a time where their parents talk about police brutality, something that they saw, and it was recorded on YouTube, Facebook, or what have you. That is what has happened. And they have done it to themselves. And I would say to you personally, growing up in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood, that if I met 10 cops in my neighborhood, maybe one was like somewhat respected. You come into the hood and like people know who he is, and like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, this dude's cool. He's coming in to ask questions, but it's cool. 1 out of 10. The rest of them, you see them, you run. You run. You get out of the way. You don't want to be involved because they're looking to harass you, arrest you, pepper spray you, pull a gun on you, whatever the case may be. And okay, it's like, all right, well, Divine, but like there's a lot of crime. Okay, then why is there crime? Like, it's not a conversation that most people want to go down because the truth hurts. The truth hurts, but the truth will set you free. The war on drugs, right? These non-violent offenses. What is it, like 60 to 65% or even more of the people incarcerated are due to drug offenses? You want to think about the manpower and the energy and the money spent on locking a dude up for having a joint in his car, or having a little baggie of coke or whatever, right? The amount of resources, manpower, energy, and money that is spent on that shit, putting people in cages like animals because they want to smoke a blunt or they want to sniff some coke or whatever the case may be. Ain't hurt nobody, not violent, not raping nobody, killing nobody, pillaging, breaking into houses, right? Imagine if that manpower, the money, the resources, everything I just listed was actually focused on real criminals. Hopla, what's good, bro? Thanks for dropping by. Imagine that. And people shrug their shoulders like they even want to talk about it. Oh, yeah, but drugs are bad. Okay. Okay. I don't need to be told that drugs are bad. I know they're bad. I don't use drugs. See, but that's the problem, right? That's the problem, is that it's the old saying, right, where a father has a daughter. She becomes a teenager, she starts dating, going out, meeting boys or whatever, right? So the dad tries to put the clamps down, tries to control it. You can't go out, you can't do this, you can't do that. What do you think this teenage girl's gonna do? She's gonna rebel, right? Just like all teenagers do. The more you put the clamps on them, the more you try to control them, the more they rebel. Now the irony is a lot of this happens when we are teenagers, right? Then as we become adults, we've already established that rebellious type mindset. You tell us that we can't do something or we shouldn't do something, so let me try it first. I'm going to do it first. I'm going to do it because you told me that I can't do it. There's no education as to why, like you shouldn't like do heroin. It's drug. You shouldn't do it. If you do it, you're going to go to jail. That's the message. It's like telling a teenage girl, like, oh, don't date this boy because, like, boys are bad, or whatever the case is. But no education on, what it is to become a young woman and using protection and how to, value yourself and how to set standards. And, if you're a father in your young teenage daughter's life, like being that male example to where she will hold other men to that standard. And if a woman does that, then she's not going to bring in stupid boys into her life. You see, but this doesn't happen in society. Society is broken. And in the meantime, while all this other shit's going on that I'm just speaking of right now, in the meantime, divide and conquer, right? What team are you on? You on that team or you on this team? Oh, okay, you over there. Well, fuck you then. And I keep telling you guys this, right? The longer we are divided, the weaker we are as a people, as a country, as a city, as a community. And it's not even just like black, white, yellow, purple, pink, brown, whatever religion creed you are. A lot of times it's within your own communities, within your own communities, black communities, white communities, Asian communities, even within those communities themselves, it is divided. Which side are you on? Do you think this is coincidence? That's why I tell people don't ever turn on the TV. Don't ever listen to the media. You should never listen to the media. Goebbels, he figured that shit out in Nazi Germany. He knew propaganda is what drives our agenda, and that's exactly what they did, right? This before TV wasn't even invented, propaganda, man, right? Coming from the people of power. Do you think this is coincidence, man? Whole nother topic. But I just wanted to leave my thoughts about Paulie, man. It's a shame, but I'm not going to stand for it, and I hope none of you guys stand for it. And I'm keeping my eyes open, my eyes open, my ears open, tuned in to see what these boxing channels, because at the end of the day, this is a boxing topic. There's social issues involved in it because he's ridiculing George Floyd. But I mean, this is Paulie Malignaggi we're talking about, an ex-boxer, an ex-commentator of the sport. So I keep my eyes open, my head on a swivel, and my ears tuned in on what these other channels are actually going to say. Right? Because that's how we send the message. Like, this won't be tolerated. It will not be tolerated. And anytime there's an injustice or anytime there's a boxing decision, which is a robbery, a blatant robbery, people or fighters are not being treated fairly, they're not given the same opportunities as other fighters, and whatever the case may be. This is why we have these microphones. This is why we have these keyboards. This is why we have the social media, right? To let people know, like, it's not tolerated. But when it comes to Bud Crawford, Earl Spence, Bob Arum, and now Muhammad Ali's daughter's involved, she's leaving her comments in regards to Bud filing the lawsuit against Bob Arum. I mean, it's just a whole bag of things to unpack. And I'm going to be back on here live talking about it a little bit more. If you guys haven't seen, I've already made a prediction / breakdown video of Gary Russell Jr., man. Gary Russell Jr. is fighting not this weekend, but the following weekend, January 22nd. Gary Russell Jr. and Mark Magsayo. That's for Gary Russell's title. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this fight, but I did my due diligence because I love the sport of boxing. The video is up on the channel right now. Go check it out. Listen to my prediction. Hit the like button, all that good stuff. Leave your comment. Let me know who you think is going to win that fight. And in regards to other fight predictions, I'm going to, of course, talk about the Charlo Castaño fight, the rematch. I just got word that the fight is probably not 100. It's not set in stone, but probably going to be moved to LA. So that's a bit of new news for you guys, and that fight right there could possibly be the fight of the year. So I'm going to be not only dropping a prediction video, but also going live about that fight and open up some panels. But I just felt like I needed to come on here and give my thoughts about this Paulie Malignaggi and his mouth running wild. And it seems desperate too. It's a desperate attempt to stay relevant, and it's sad because, like I said earlier, he literally has zero reason to do and say the things that he's saying. He had zero reason to chase down Conor McGregor and act a fool in front of people, leading up to Conor fighting Floyd, right? And like I was saying earlier, that was kind of like the beginning for me of noticing the type of dude, the type of character that Paulie Malignaggi has. It's like, who cares, bro? You're damn near 40. Like, you're not in shape. Conor beat you up. Like, nobody really cares, bro. Like, but you want to act like a kid, little baby. But that was the beginning for me. And it's just kind of went downhill. Christian, when I first heard about Trayvon Martin case, it didn't sound like a big deal to me because it sounded like self-defense. But when I learned the details, Zimmerman basically stalked a random black teen home and killed him and got away with it too. Yeah, I mean, the amount of hours and energy that I put into the Trayvon Martin case, like, the kid was murdered, bro. I mean, it's as simple as that. That's all I'm gonna say. He who grew to the fire, bro, was good, man. Paulie had a crazy fall from grace. I think he meant to say fall from grace. I don't know what's gotten into him, man. I really, really don't know what has gotten into him. But like I said, it seems to me that it's something deep rooted. Like, he was picked on when he was a kid by black dudes in the boxing gym, or every time he got a hot chick, some like black dude swoop in and like fuck this chick, or I don't know, man. I really don't know. But to me, it just sounds like he's got some personal shit going on, some personal demons, and he's now found an outlet because basically his career as a boxer and commentator is over. Is over, and he done it to himself. So now it's just he's in desperation mode, and his true colors are starting to be revealed. And when I listen to him speak in this interview, I don't feel like it's him being sarcastic. I don't feel like it's him chasing clout. I really do feel like he's really speaking how he feels. Like, you know, this whole George Floyd thing. Like, yeah, like George Floyd was high on drugs. He didn't cooperate with police, and he died. It's unfortunate, but he died. That's the message that I got from this interview in a nutshell from him. Yo, Reggie, what's good, bro? Hey, I didn't know that you had another channel, man. I don't know if this is your channel or not. Politics News with Reggie Owens. But I found it on YouTube, and I was just leaving my thoughts, man, to my subscribers at least about Paulie's comments. If that's your channel, bro, then shout out to you, bro. Because people out here, they be stealing channels and taking names and shit. So you never know. But salute to you. Yeah, Christian. Yeah, he took a side piece, and I guarantee you, Christian, like that's not the first time that's happened to him. That's not the first time that's happened to him. Um, I guarantee you, he's had lots of side pieces taken. Paulie Paulie seems like the type of dude that he's got a mouthpiece. I mean, you can say that he's a decent looking guy. He tries to dress nice and whatever. He was like a boxer and all that shit. But he seems like the type of dude that like falls in love with chicks easily. You know what I mean? Like, meets a nice little dime piece. He's got a bit of money. He's able to take her out, spend money on her. And he ends up liking her way more than she likes him. And then he finds out that, like, she's sleeping with another dude, and it could be like his best friend type shit. And it's probably happened to him several times. But he seems like a guy that just like tries to buy love, falls in love, and then gets hurt. Like, I'm being honest to God, true. This is the type of dude that he seems like to me. So, um, yeah, like like I said, I don't know if it's something deep rooted, and it very well could be, but it just doesn't excuse. Like, you're a grown ass man. You got to be held accountable for the things that come out of your mouth, even if you feel so strongly about, like, George Floyd, for example. And just, I mean, you got to keep that shit to yourself, man. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. First, get help. And some people feel certain ways about this type of thing, like people that have hatred and evil in their hearts, and they can never be saved, and they are going down a path of demise, and they deserve to burn in hell. I mean, there are people that feel that way. For me, depends on the circumstances, but some people can be saved. You know what I mean? But you got to be willing to get help. And if he's running around here hurt, his little heart's broken because his little manhood has been hurt because these chicks keep stepping out on him and sleeping with black dudes. Like, if that's some shit that's bothering you, then like go get help, because this is not a good look for you. Like, you've already destroyed your career in commentating, and like you could have like had a very successful career commentating if you wanted to. You know what I mean? But you did it to yourself. But Paulie has always had a problem speaking before he thinks about what he's going to say. Even before he started on these racist rants, like he just say like cringe shit all the time, and he's always had an issue with that. And now it's just on a different level. Now it's just on a different level. Psycho Boxing Fan, bro, what's good? He says, "What's up, Divine? Did you see the whole interview? Was telling how everything went down at Showtime was on Steve Kim and Mario Lopez show." No, I haven't seen it, man. I don't know if I would have the patience at this point, but I might later on to listen to his perspective about why he left Showtime. But it's just not a good look for him, And I'm usually a man of a lot of passion or compassion, to be honest with you. Um, and I give people the benefit of the doubt a lot of times. But when people say these type of things, man, and they say it with conviction, like they say it, like I feel like he's really speaking from the chest. I really do. About a man that was executed in broad daylight, like that. It just draws the line in the sand for me, and it really just hurts any credibility that you may or may not have. I'm sorry, you know. And believe me when I say this, like I don't expect him or anybody to come out and pretend like they know that George Floyd was a great man and he was a great person or anything like that. Don't speak about things that you don't know. But at the end of the day, a man was executed in broad daylight, and for you to even assume, like even whisper the idea that, oh, somehow he deserved that, like you have now drawn the line in the sand, and like I know where you stand now, and stay the fuck away from me because my tolerance is zero. So that's just how I feel about it. What's up, Joey? I don't know why just like copy and paste shit's going on, man. But I've been through Cali, bro. I've been through Cali, so I'm from Phoenix, bro. Arizona. It's not much different. A lot of people from LA moved to Phoenix, to be honest with you. People from LA, like the Bloods and Crips came from LA to Phoenix. Like all the gangs came from LA to Phoenix pretty much, except for a few gangs that are originated in Phoenix. But every time I turn my head, it's somebody living in Phoenix that originally came from LA or the Bay Area or something like that. Um, yeah, that was stupid what he said, but go listen to the whole interview. Steven Espinosa moves like a snake too. I don't doubt that a bit about Steven Espinosa. Um, but look, I mean, like I said, it's just hard for me to give you any type of credibility when you've already drawn the line in the sand and when you say dumb shit like this. And it's not to give Steven Espinosa any credit because I have my thoughts about him too. Um, but you can't say one thing and then call it something else. You know what I mean? Uh, but look, about this whole Bob Arum situation and Bud Crawford, at this point in time, here's the thing, right? At this point in time, it is speculation, right? It's Bud accusing Bob Arum for basically being racist as well, right? Not promoting the black fighter or black fighters that are in top rank like he promotes white fighters or Latino fighters, um, and using this racist rhetoric to hurt Bud Crawford's growth in his career and et cetera, et cetera. So he is accusing him of that and creating a lawsuit, right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I've been talking about boxing for a very, very long time, and I think Boxing Psycho fan, you know this. I've been talking about boxing for a long time, and I have been criticizing. I used to have on my old channel a damn series, like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. I had like 10 episodes of how Bob Arum is a piece of shit. And I might go back and re-download all of those and re-upload them on this channel just to state my case. I have caught Bob Arum so many times in different interviews of just saying absolute ignorant, arrogant, bigoted, and racist shit. So for me personally, a guy who's been talking about the sport for a very long time and has heard things come out of this man's mouth personally, right? And I've seen his actions in person and in person as well. Like I've been to fights and I see how he is. At the end of the day, when a guy like Bud comes out and says the things that he's saying against Bob Arum, it's not hard for me to be like, yep, Bud's probably got a point. And I'm glad he's got Bob Arum in the scope. Because Bob Arum has drawn the line in the sand a long time ago. I mean, Floyd Mayweather was talking about Bob Arum in the early 2000s. Before he left the top rank, fought Oscar De La Hoya, became Floyd Money Mayweather and all that shit. And at that time, nobody wanted to really give Floyd any credibility, any recognition. Everyone thought that Floyd was just a cocky dude that thought he wasn't making enough money, so he was trying to shit on Bob Arum. That was the opinion then, and that might be the opinion of some people now. But the truth will reveal itself in time. It always does. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know for sure if it's like, oh, I don't like black people. I know that's the angle that Bud's coming at. and he has that right if he feels that way, right? And if he's filing a lawsuit against his ass, and he might have proof. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't know if it's that or he's just a hateful person, a greedy ass, dirty, old piece of shit in general. Because to be quite honest with you, and anybody that's listening, Bob Arum, like, he fucked over Manny Pacquiao too. For years, he was robbing Manny Pacquiao. And didn't set up fights with Manny Pacquiao that should have been set up, and making fights like Joshua Clottey in the Dallas Stadium. Like, who wanted to watch Joshua Clottey and Manny Pacquiao? Especially given the fact that Joshua Clottey basically just showed up for a payday. And it was an embarrassment. And then fighting like way past his prime and nothing but a shell of himself and Shane Mosley. That was a disgrace too. But I can go down the list, and that's not all Manny Pacquiao's fault. And I have my beefs and my thoughts about Manny Pacquiao in regards to how he's operated and ran his career. But at the end of the day, Manny Pacquiao's a Hall of Famer. I give credit where his credit is due. But like Bob Arum, like, took advantage of Manny Pacquiao too. So he's been doing it to a lot of people, and Top Rank, to be honest with you, should be in shambles. It really should be. And for far too long, Bob Arum, he doesn't even care. Like, he doesn't even care what people think. He has said that publicly many times. He told people, like, at fights ringside, to fuck themselves and fuck off when people ask tough questions. He doesn't care because he believes and feels that he's above everybody. People bow down to me because I'm Bob Arum. I'm the 90-year-old, multimillionaire who runs shit around here. So I commend Bud. Rather it comes out that he doesn't have enough evidence or not, I don't care. I commend Bud, straight up, for crossing no man's land, shield up, spear up, helmet on, and say, yeah, what's up? I'm coming for your throat. Good. Good. Vince, what's up, bro? He says, big up to you, brother, from another mother. You always hit and spit the truth. That's what I like about you, man. I appreciate you, bro. Like, a lot of people don't like me, and I don't care. Because at the end of the day, man, I speak from the heart. I'm a passionate person, and quite frankly, I've traveled and seen and lived across the world for the past 18 years, damn near 2 decades. There ain't nothing I haven't seen. There ain't nothing I haven't encountered. Every walk of life, every religion. Like, I've been involved and around people from all walks of life and all corners of the earth. And I value my experience. And that's why I come on here to share that with people. And jealousy and envy, that's a real thing. But like I always tell people, I'm not greedy. Anybody at any time wants to leave where you're at right now and wants to come over, have a vacation, or even like change your life entirely and live abroad. If I haven't been there and lived there, I know somebody who has. I can set you up anywhere. Because I love giving love to people and helping people that want to change themselves and make and see the world and have these life experiences and look at America or wherever you're from, UK or wherever you at, look at it from a wider lens, from the outside. But at any time, you want to come out here, vacation, hang out with me, or go anywhere else that you think that that's a place I'd like to live or be or whatever the case is, and it's time for you to turn a new chapter, DM me. DM me. That's all I gotta say. Um, and there's my IG right there. If you don't follow me, follow me. That's the best way to contact me because I have a couple of accounts on IG, so I'm on IG a lot. So yeah, hit me up. And everyone knows who does hit me up on occasion. No, I always reply. Stacy says, do you think Crawford will be blackballed? In what way? In what way? Like as far as like going after Bob Arum, like will it backfire on him? Possibly. I mean, Bob Arum's a powerful man. Bob Arum's a very powerful man. He's got a very powerful legal team. Um, and that's why I commend, Bud, man, because he knows the machine that he's going up against. It takes a lot of courage, man. It's one thing to make a tweet. It's one thing to like it was one thing for him to sit in front of a press conference, right? And was like, yo, me and Bob, we're done. Like I'm doing my own thing. That was a major hit to Bob Arum's ego right there. Bob Arum sat there looking dumb. He didn't know what to say. No fighters, I don't think, has ever done that in public like that. Right? And I don't know why Bud has led to the point where now he wants to file a lawsuit. It could be something that he's always planned, or it could be that when Bud said what he did in front of everybody about Bob and Top Rank, that Bob then started threatening him or sending people to knock on his door to like scare him or some shit. And then it motivated Bud, like, all right, I had enough. Like a lot of shit has happened behind the scenes, so I'm coming after you now. Like we don't know, right? The story is in the infant stages and continues to evolve, and we're gonna see what happens, man. But yeah, I mean, don't get it twisted. Bob Arum is a very powerful man. He's got a very powerful legal team, and when you're a piece of shit like Bob Arum, like that you gotta like have a strong legal team. Let's just be honest. It's like Donald Trump. When you're a dude like Donald Trump, you got to have a strong legal team on standby 24/7 because you be on some dumb shit. So, I don't know. I can't surmise on what may or may not happen. At the very least, I hope that Bob's exposed for who he is. And I don't know if any true legal action will be taken, if he'll be sued or whatever the case is. But at the very least, I hope he's exposed. I hope there's a negative spotlight shown on him, and then he steps down. Like, you're 90. You're 90 years old, Bob. Like, go to Montana, get a cabin in the woods, put your feet up, drink your apple cider, and, and just live out your final days because we're not going to miss you. And you've done your piece. You have your little footprint in boxing, and that's what it is. And that's what I hope, at the very least. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't agree with everything that Dana White says, but I agree with that comment, though. But like I said, man, I've been talking about this man for years. Like seriously, I'm motivated now. I'm gonna go on my old channel. I'm gonna re-download that is, and then re-upload all of these episodes I have of Bob Arum. I used to have a series of this man because there's a lot of young people that are now getting into boxing. There's a lot of people that are just starting to become boxing fans that don't know about the history of Bob Arum. Just like Christian just pointed out right here in his comment about, he goes back to the days of Muhammad Ali. This is how old this dude is. Right? This is how long he's been. I mean, he's been having allegations brought up against him for like 3 or 4 decades. So I'm going to re-upload it. and y'all can just see it for yourself. I have it all in the vault. And along the way, Bud's doing what he's doing with his lawsuit, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But like I said, man, I had the Paulie Malignaggi interview there. Y'all go check out Reggie Owens' channel. He has not the whole interview, but he has the part of the interview where he addresses George Floyd. I've already played it here a couple times on my channel. I've already given my thoughts about it. So if you missed the early part of the live, this will be uploaded on the channel. You can go back and watch it. I always, if you guys don't know, in the comment section, I always put a timestamp anytime I do long lives, right? Because I don't expect you guys, to watch it from the very beginning and then wait to get to the good parts. So I always leave timestamps for you guys to jump straight into the topic and whatnot so you guys can hear my thoughts, and I'll do that. Karma Boxing MMA was good, bro. Good to see you. So, look, guys, I'm going to head up out of here. Got a lot of things I need to do. I know it's late out there stateside for a lot of you guys. I appreciate you guys stopping by and showing support, hitting that like button, all that good stuff. If you came by tonight and new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, stay a part of the conversation. And this is not something that I like to do, to be completely honest with you. It's not something I'm like, yeah, I get to talk about Paulie Malignaggi being a racist. Like, no, it's not what motivates me at all. Like, me making my video the other day talking about Gary Russell Jr. and Mark Magsayo, that fight coming up, that motivates me. And if you haven't seen the video yet, you see my energy, you see my passion about the sport of boxing in that video. That's what I like to do. That's why I'm on YouTube. But sometimes I feel like I got to give my piece, give my opinion about some of these matters. And I've strayed away from a lot of it for the most part. But like I said, man, I just reached my limit. There's a couple channels out here that I respect immensely that we're speaking about. And I was like, okay, I got to come on here and give my little piece. And so if you missed it, hit that rewind button, and I left my thoughts and I broke down the interview, and that's that, man. At the end of the day, man, like, look, I'm going to continue to do what I do, and for those of you who would like to hear my thoughts about these type of matters, I do have another channel out here called the Eternal Beast Podcast. And I haven't officially launched it yet, but I know some of you have already came by and subscribed and kind of waiting, but I try to keep it separate. So for those of you who came by and was like, oh, what is Divine? Man, I came here to listen about boxing, but he's talking about this shit. Well, sometimes it happens, but just know that I try to keep this channel strictly boxing as much as I possibly can, but sometimes I get uprooted. Stacy says, man, I appreciate you and that super chat, bro. You're welcome. And when you guys come over to Divine Sense Boxing, you guys always know I'm going to keep it raw, real, authentic. I don't play sides. I don't do, oh, well, he said this, so I'm going to jump on this bandwagon. No, I speak from the heart every single time. Those of you who know me and fuck with me know that. And I appreciate every single one of you guys immensely. And I'm going to continue to be authentic no matter what. And I don't pander to anybody. If you don't like it, hit the exit button. Simple as that. So appreciate you guys, man. If you guys haven't hit that like button, go ahead and do that. And I'll be back on here again soon. Maybe Charlo Castano, man. I think I need to give that to the people. A lot of you guys voted that for me to talk about that on the community page. So I feel like I owe that to you guys, man. So look forward to that, man. That's a big fight coming up, man. I'm really looking forward to that fight. Possible fight of the year. I think there's a lot of tension and bad blood involved in that fight, so it's going to be interesting, man. Ubu Fly, man, stay up, bro. Everyone else, Omega Red, I see you. Everyone else, man, stay up, man. I'll be on here again soon, and hopefully you guys get my notifications, man. That shit pissing me off. If you guys haven't hit that notification bell, make sure you guys do that on my channel as well, because I think that does help a little bit. So make sure you hit that notification button. At least you know that you do it, and if you still don't get notifications, then let me know, because I'm going to start going after YouTube about this shit, because this is unacceptable. But in the meantime, hope to see you guys soon. Peace.